Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our free online lesson. My name is Nabil Fikri bin Shaizan, and for today's topics, I would like to share with you about the Fusion 360. So we are going to take a look on a little bit introductions on the Fusion 360 software, and also the cloud things that deal with the Fusion 360. Right, so this will be the agenda that I will show you. So the first thing is I'm going to take a look on the Fusion team. So basically when you want to save your folder or the model location, so over there we have this Fusion team. Then we have the Fusion modeling. So we're going to take a look on some of these basic things that you can model inside the Fusion. And then lastly, since Fusion is a cloud software, so we're also going to take a look on the Fusion web, so which is on the website that you can manage your file and also manage the teams and also the people that you want to involve in the Fusion. Right, so let me show you the Fusion. Right, so let me just share my screen. So this is my Fusion 360. Right, so on the newest update for the Fusion, so right now we have this home panel over here. So usually on the previous one, we only have this untitled, and then we have these data panels over here. But the new updates, which includes the home panels, which over here we can start to create a new files, new project, and also create or switch between the teams that you want to see. So let's take a look first on the teams or the location for your projects. So for the teams, first of all, we can find from here. If I click and drop down from here, first of all, we have this single user storage. So this one is basically allows you to work with Fusions singly, right? So without having any team member involved. And then we have these teams right over here. So if you want, you can create your teams, or you can also join an existing team. So I have created one, which is acadsystems, and then I have joined several other teams from here. So if I want to change my teams, I can just click and it will change from here. So if I go in from the untitled over here, so I can also do that from here. If I can drop down from here, I can select the teams that I want to work with. Right, so you can go from home, drop downs, or you can also go from here, from this data panel over here, and then you can drop down from here. So if you don't see this data panel, so you can click this data panel from here, and it will show you the data panels, which you can see from here. We have this project that you can create and so on. So just to make it a little bit simple on this project, so basically this is what you will see for the Fusion. So first of all, so you have your own accounts, and inside of your account, you have the teams, right? So the teams that you have joined, and also your own team that you have created. For example, I have these 3 teams over here, and then I have my own teams. And then on my teams over here, I have projects, which we can create project file from any project that we want. And then inside the project, then you can click and create folder from here. So let me just switch back to Fusion. Right, so basically when you create, when you start, so you will start with single user storage. So if you want to create teams, so you can click, or maybe you want to join a team. So again, similarly down here. And then right over here is where you can start to, this is where you can start creating your project. So I have several projects. And then below here, I have some sample files which given by Autodesk, which we can use to learn or use some of these data sets as a tutorial, so on. But let's say I'm going to create a new project. So I'm going to pick a new, I'm going to rename this one as a free online lesson. So once I have created, so I have this project file, free on lesson. So I can go inside here, and then I can start to create my my models, my drawing, and save from here. Or maybe I want to create a new folder first. So let's say I'm creating a new folder, and I'm just going to name this one as a intro. So I have created this folder called install. Now let's say if you want to delete your folder, if you want to delete your project, so if you right click, you can select archive. So archive basically the delete button for the Fusion 360. It does not call delete for some reason, but it has this archive. So archive basically will move this project inside of Recycle Bin, which we can see later on from the web browser first. But for now, I'm not going to delete, so I'm just going to get inside over here. And right from here, we can start to click and creating some of this design. So if you wanted to go and manage your project file, your themes, folders from the websites, you can also do that. So if you can just drop down from here, and we have this open on the web. If you want to see from the web, right? Let's say you want to change, so you can just click the theme from here. So for now, I'm just going to use my single user storage theme. Right, so this is the interface for the Fusion 360. So if you want to start drawing, you don't want to see the data panel, so you can just hide. So for this case, I'm going to let it on, and I can start to draw. So we have this workspace, which is starting with the design. So if you drop down, so we have several other things that you can do inside of your Fusion. So we have design, basically the modeling location, the modeling workspace. So we have generative design, we have rendering if you want to render your models, so we have animation if you want to create some exploded view, simulation, manufacturing, and drawing. So just a quick note, Fusion 360 also has a free version which is for hobbies. If you want to use Fusion 360 in home just for fun, so you can also download Fusion 360 for hobbies. Basically, that one has some limited things that you can do. You still have the design, which you can design 3D objects, but I believe you don't have the generative design or simulation or manufacturing. But if you want to do some modelings for fun, you can download Fusion 360 for free. Now let's start with the design. So I'm not going to take a look on the rest, but just going to design. So on the design, we have some solid panels top. So we have some surface, mesh, sheet metals, plastics, utilities, and so on. Now Fusion 360 usually will be updated frequently. So unlike other Autodesk software such as AutoCAD or Inventor, so that AutoCAD and also Inventor, they have their own version. For example, the next version, the next year will have the different version. AutoCAD 2021, AutoCAD 2022, and then we have Inventor 2019, Inventor 2023. So, but the Fusion 360, we don't have versions. We only have one Fusion 360, but this Fusion 360 will be updated frequently. So you might expect to have some new things added. Right? For example, previously, I believe a few months ago, I don't see mesh or plastic. So every plastic have some while, but mesh, probably some new things that have been added. So expect some new things that included over here. Right. So I'm going to go with the solids. So if you take a look on this interface, so you can see it is quite similar with the Inventor. So if you're using Inventor before, so the interface is quite similar. So we have this create panel, so we have some modify, but this panel has been created to be more specific. And then we have this browser over here. So this browser will contain your some origins, your objects, right? Solid objects, or even the components. So everything will be stored on this browser from here. So if you're using Inventor before, Inventor also have this model tree that will store anything that you have created over here on the left. But on the Fusion, that will be stored at the below over here, which is called as a design history. So I believe, so if I click over here, so we have the design history. Make sure to on this design history if you want your drawing to be captured, right? So like in Inventor, so that will be placed at the bottom over here. All right, so let's say I'm going to start with creating a model. So I'm going to start with creating a sketch. So like others CAD software, in a 3D CAD software, you will select the plane first. So I'm going to select the bottom plane here, and then I will sketch some things from here. Let's say I'm going to sketch some rectangles, maybe some line sketch. Maybe I want to have some circles. Now you see over here we have these sketch panels, so similar with the Inventor. So we have create to create lines, ellipse, arcs. So we have some modifying tools to trim, to copies, and so on. And then we have these constraint tools, again similar with Inventor, but on the constraint tools, if you look over here, we only have this geometric constraint, but you don't have this dimensional constraint. Dimensional constraint actually stored on the crate, so you will find this sketch dimension right over here. So if you need to choose some dimensioning, so go into the crate and sketch dimension for it, and then you can drop down and just put some value that I want from here. Let's say I want to have a 20 radius, so I can just choose from here. So once I have done, I can just click finish sketch, or at the top over here. So similarly with Inventor, maybe CATIA or SolidWorks. Right. So once you have finished, you can then proceed with creating this solid. So I'm going to extrude this one. Then you can see I can extrude, or I can input the value over here. So similar with the Inventor, we can select the operation, the boolean. We have join, cut, intersect, and then we also have this component, right? So the component basically allows you to create a few components inside of this part file over here. Now, Inventor and Fusion are a little bit different when it comes for assembling the file. So inside of Inventor or maybe CATIA files, so you are likely to create a few part files first and then combine it together inside of this assembly interface, assembly file. But in the Fusion 360s, that will be created inside of this one part file. So if you're creating this one, you can add a new component which will be created, which will be worked with inside of one single part file over here. Now let's say I'm going to create a new solid, right? So welcome Hisham, right? So okay, let's say I'm going to click, and then I'm going to press OK. So we have done that. Let's say I'm going to make some changes, create some sketch. Let's say I'm going to create some holes from here. I'm going to extrude. So basically the function is quite similar with the Inventor, so we don't have to worry much. But most of these, they try to make it more simplified. So you have create, so you can modify. Now at the bottom over here, so once we have done created some things, you will see we have this sketch, and then we have some features from here, which is the extrude. So unlike the Inventor, so not only that, this design tree is actually put on the left. So in Fusion, we have at the bottom, the sketch will also not be consumed by the features, right? Like the Inventor, so Inventor will likely to consume the sketch, but in Fusion, we do not have that. But we can still edit it. So for example, if I would like to edit the sketch, so I can just double click, and then I can just do some editing from here. Let's say I'm going to add something here which I would like to cut. Oops. We just undo. I would like to cut. Oops. Right. So cut something out here. Then once I'm finished sketch, so again, you will see that it will automatically update. Now, if I would like to edit the features, so I can just click and edit the features from here. Let's say I'm going to get around -25. Then you can see you can just edit from this design history from here. Just make sure that this is not turned off. Okay, so we have created some samples from here. And then over here, we can see we have bodies, we have some sketch. We can still see your sketch. So if you want to turn that one on, you can click and it will become visible from here. If you don't want, you can turn off. Now, let's say I'm going to create a new part file or component which I'm going to assemble on this file. So for that, I'm going to create new sketch, and let's say I'm going to select this face, and then I select this box over here. Let's say I need some edit tools to finish. Oops. Okay. All right, so let me just extrude this one. Then this one, instead of extrude as a new, instead of join or cut or new bodies, I'm going to select as new component. So when I select new component, I'm going to press OK, and then the new part file will be appear at the below over here. And then you will see that this original part icon will turn into assembly icon. So let me just undo that one. You can see this is part icon. Then I create a new component, it will turn into an assembly component. So we can create a few components from here, and then we can assemble inside of this part file. Now I have created this component, so if I can select and move this one around. Now I wanted to assemble this part into this original part from here. So for that, we have assembly from here. So you can drop down. So we have a few assembly component that you can create. You can create a new component, so you can join. For the assembly in Fusion 360, you don't have the constraint tools in inventor, but you do have the join. So if I click join, and then it will allow me to select the faces that I want to join. Right. So if you inside of inventor, we have the constraint with which we have the mate, the flush, angles and so on, but for here we have join. So let's say I'm going to select this face, and then I'm going to select and join on, let's say, this face over here, and then you can see it will join on that. Now, so that is for joining the position. I can edit the angle from here. So if I want to have some angles. Now, inside of inventor, when you're using the mate flash, sometimes you can limit the things that you constrain, so that will have some your item can be rolls or maybe turns. But if join, when you select, we have motion over here. So we have a few types of motion. For example, I wanted this item to fix on this item over here, so that will be rigid, so it will not be moved. But if I would like to join, but this one is not fully constrained, so maybe this one can be turned. So let's say I choose revolute, so this one can be turned. So if I choose rigid and then I press OK, and then if I try to move, okay, so you can see it is actually right over here. So if I click and then I try to move, I cannot move this one. Now let's say I edit this one. Let's say I edit back the join, and I'm going to select, instead of rigid, I'm going to select revolute or maybe slider. I can select which side of slider that I want. Okay, but let's say I'm just going to choose revolute, and then I'm going to press OK. Then you can see I can just click and then I can move this one, but this one is, we will fix on here, but you can still rotate this one. So that is the revolute that you can do. Now, right, so you can see we have these components inside of the assembly, but let's say you still want to do traditional way, which you create part by parts separately, and then you want to combine it inside this file over here. So you can still do that. for example, let's say I'm going to create a new drawing. So let's say create something from here. Say I'm going to cut. Let's say, all right, so let's say this is the item I have. And I'm going to save first. So let me save this one first. So this one I have not saved yet. So when I click and save, I can find the location, but automatically it will find the folder that you have open currently. So I'm just going to click save. Let's say I'm going to name this one as assembly. And I'm going to click save. So we have this assembly file from here. And then this one, I'm going to save this one as a part 1. Okay, so part 1, I'm going to save. So we have part 1 and assembly file. So let's say I'm going to include this part 1 inside of this assembly from here. So you can do that. So you can just right click on the part 1 and select insert into current design. So it's going to insert this part into my assembly part file over here. So you can see I have this one input from here, which I can click and move around because I have not yet joining. So I'm going to select and join. Let's say I'm going to join at the top over here with, let's say, this top. For this case, I'm just going to leave it as a rigid. And then you can see when I click here, so it is now joined into this this part file here, this component 1. Right. So you can assemble using parts from different locations. And then what you can see over here, we have this part, and then you have this chain icon, which indicate that it has the link with the original part file. So if I make some changes from here, let's say I'm going to give a fillet, right here. So I need to save first. So let me just save. And then when I go back to my assembly, and then it will have this indication. So when I click this one, it's going to automatically generate back the original icon that has. So you can see it is now updated on here. So it has the link with the original file. So if you wanted to break the link, so you can also do that. So you can just right click and I can select break the link. All right, so we see over here, so we have the assembly and parts. Another thing that you may notice is that we have this icon over here, which is N. So this is basically my name, which is Nabil Fikri. So it highlights with the symbol of N. So which means that if somebody else is currently using this icon, this part file, you will see their name appear over here. So you can know so who is using this part file currently. So you can just not using that part file, so that guy can use this part file first. Then you can just edit it on. Right, and you can see this time. So you say so on what times this one is saved, and then over here we have this version. So currently we have V1 and V2. V basically means for version. So if I go into version 2, basically means the reason why it's version 2 is because we make some changes. Once we save, it's going to update automatically, say this is version number 2. So let's say I'm going to make some other edit. Let's say I'm going to make some fold from here. And I'm going to select and I'm going to select and I'm going to save. And then you will see that this one will become version number 3. Okay, just give it a few seconds for it to update. Right, so version number 3, and then you can see we have some older version that you can find at the below over here. So currently version number 3 is the updated version. But if I wanted to go back to the lower version, so I can just drop down and go to the history over here and see the version that I have, version 1. Let's say I want to open the version number 1. So I click open. There you can see my tools will be showing the previous version, which is number 1 version. But this one is not the updated version, this is the old version. So if I want to upgrade this one into the latest version, so I can just right click and then I select save as latest. So this one will be version number 4. So you can just always go back to the previous version that you have, so it will not be missing. You can find from here. Right, so basically that is how you use the inventor software. So you can create the themes, the folders, and you can create the models from here. Now let's say you wanted to manage it from the web as well. So over here we have this icon to open on the web. So when I click open on the web, it's going to open the my account for my Fusions, which include the team members and so the teams and the project folder that I have on here. So I click over here. So I have the free online lesson which I've created before. So this is the project file. If I wanted to change the theme, so I can go around here and I can select theme. So let's say I'm going to go to free online lesson and intro, and then I can see my file is now actually created right over here. So let's say if I go back to my free online lesson, let's say I go back to my home and I want to archive my free online lesson, so I can just right click. Sorry, I can just click at the right side and select archive. So once it's archived, and it will be deleted and move into temporary bin, temporary trash bin. So you can go to the archive over here, and you can see this is some of the project that I have deleted before. It will be stored this one temporary. So if you want to permanently delete, so you can just click delete. So if you want to restore, so you can just click restore, and it will restore back this this project back into the icon. Now this is basically the this is my theme, actually my single user theme. So I will not be able to see anyone using this theme because I'm the only one using it. So let's say I'm going to go with other theme. For example, let's say I have acadsystems Penang, which is the theme that I have created from here. So similarly, I can find all of my project from here. So I'll say all, so you can see all project. And then from here, I can select admin. So if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to add some other people's, so I can just go to admin, and then from the member and role, I can select invite. So that person that has been invited, it has this access to this current project. And I can also select and give it the role from that for that person. So currently only I am the only people in this team, so I cannot actually assign the teams or assigns the role for that particular person. But that is basically how that you can use this the Fusion 360 to manage your file, right? So let's say I go back to my, which is my personal. So I have these files, so I can open, I can save, I can also download. So I have these download buttons. So if you want to download, so you can just download from here. So that is basically the things that I would like to share with you about this Fusion 360 software. So if you guys have any question, you can just type in on the chat, and I will try to answer your questions regarding this Fusion 360. So far, is there any question that you'd like to ask? Right, so I believe no questions so far. Okay, so since we don't have any questions, so I believe I hope that this session is useful for you. So that is all that I would like to share. So thank you very much, everybody for joining. So thank you, Alif, thank you, Karul Rizwan, Zam, Sharudin, and thank you everybody for joining our fully online lesson. And I hope that I can see you guys again on our next fully online lesson. So that is all from me. So thank you very much. Have a nice day and goodbye.